Thank you, Mr. President. The Durban Declaration and Program of Action noted with grave concern that countless human beings continued to be victims of racism, xenophobia, and related intolerance. Sadly, this sentence rings as true today as it did when Durban was adopted 15 years ago. Modern-day racism and xenophobia play out in at least two forms. One form is state policies or actions. These include discriminatory restrictions on religious, ethnic, and racial minorities, as well as disproportionately applied laws and practices, which are often the result of implicit biases by state actors. Another form is social hostility and violence. This includes the othering of minorities based on perceived religious, cultural, or racial factors, as well as actual physical attacks. These two phenomena are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they can be mutually reinforcing. Hateful statements by political leaders can fuel social hostility and violence that can, in turn, lead to greater support for discriminatory state policies. Additionally, state failure to address social hostility and violence can create a culture of impunity which leads to increased intolerance. It is possible to counter these problems through public dissent, including protests and counter-speech. Yet often minorities who engage in such practices face harsh state crackdowns on their rights to peaceful assembly and freedom of expression, or else unchecked social violence. Mr. President, Durban recognized that governmental actions were required to combat racism, xenophobia, and related intolerance. This cannot be what its drafters had in mind. States will never realize their full potential unless all of their citizens have equal standing. We urge member states to recognize and root out any legal, historical, and social discrimination, and to support and protect the civil rights and equal dignity of all harmed individuals and groups. Thank you.
Thank you very much.